Meet Serena, your virtual companion for emotional support. The ultimate safe space to discuss your thoughts, your fears, and the ups and downs of daily life. Start your free trial today at serena.chat.
My 24M partner, 23F, kicked me out of our house and we have a 4-month-old baby together. I'm really just looking for any words of advice, consolation, or even a reality check. I'm so torn up right now, the sadness is eating me alive. We've been together for just over 2 years now. We found out she was pregnant 1 year into our relationship, and after so much back and forth on both parts, we decided to keep the baby. The baby was born 4 months ago and he is the biggest joy in our lives. I love him with all of my heart and my partner, X, does too, and I'm so happy that she is the mother of my child because I love so much about her, from her beauty and likes and dislikes, to her imperfections, but most of all love the way she cares for our child. I work full-time plus in order to pay for rent, groceries, leisure, clothing, etc. for her, the baby and us. I'm working extremely hard to provide her with the ability to be a stay-at-home mother in one of the most esteemed cities in Southern California. I do this because I've assumed the financial responsibility of parenting my child and seek to give the mother the best possible, stress-free life with the ability to be 100% present and available during such a tender time for the both of them. She had been mentioning how she fell out of love with me and didn't feel as romantically engaged in me as before. I tried suggesting this could be due to hormonal changes after birth, while still acknowledging her feelings. The first couple months after birth we were consistently sexually active and she was deeply in love with me, or so I thought. Things started to decline as I came back to work and was less present around the house. I really wanted to try to raise my son with my partner in the same household. We tried therapy, did a few sessions, over the span of 1.5 months, had some insight into our situation, but no resolution yet. It came to the point where she told me that she was completely out of love with me and done trying. That she appreciated all of the financial support and how good I am with our child, but that I lacked the emotional space for her and the baby, which breaks my heart. She told me that she likes nothing about me and actually despises who I am and that it was a mistake to have a child with me. She expresses how she is completely romantically detached from me and how she wants to find romance and love again, and that it can't work with me in the picture. She had been consciously keeping my baby away from my parents, his grandparents. They only got to hold him once or twice after the birth. She keeps my baby away from her own mother. She is an elementary school and tutor. Meanwhile, my partner's father is home with her every day, caring for our baby while I am at work, and he is even spending the night at our house. Her father is well able, retired, jobless, lives off Social Security but too prideful to work consistent jobs. Therefore he has no home or rental. He lived out of a cheap motel until they found that I could house him for free. I am grateful of how he is able to be present to help my partner get sleep and look after the baby while I am away, working for the family. Both of them know this. Everything hit the fan after I was told that I needed to pay for my partner to have a running car that was up to date with insurance and registration. I have 2 cars and only drive one daily. Her having an automobile is a given to me and I was not trying to hold back this necessity, but they basically forced me into a situation where I had to sell my work vehicle in order to pay for her car, $2,000 plus, to get back on the road. I didn't see her car as high priority considering her father was living with her and was driving her into town every day, and I picked her and our child up after work daily. I asked if there was any way that I could have some help in this situation, perhaps from her father, and that my work vehicle greatly facilitated my work life. She took this as me not willing to sell my car and/or me not wanting her to have a working car. She walked out to her father, who came back angry and aggressive, asking me why I always push back, to stop getting in the way of everything, and do what his daughter says. I simply told him I have no problem in getting her car up and running and that I misunderstood just how high priority it was considering the situation. He told me I had to grow up, and this, and got extremely aggressive towards me. Her seeing her father in this state really triggered her, as she views him in very good light and almost whatever he says goes in her mind. I was then kicked out of my house on the premise that she needed 3 nights of spaces and this relationship wasn't working. It has since been 2 nights. She let me see my son for 30 minutes yesterday, half of the time he was sleeping, the other half I was trying to spend talking to her. We were in a busy environment and didn't get anywhere. She hears what I have to say but has no feelings or empathy for me. She says we will do 3 more nights, then we'll see. I am now kicked out of my house, living on friends' couches, while her and her father are living in the 2-bedroom space with 4 beds that I have paid for nearly 12 months. I can't believe this is my reality, and I am absolutely devastated that I can't be with my child or sleep under the same roof as them. As a father and protector, this is my biggest nightmare. Somebody please give me insight. TL.Dr. My girlfriend and mother of my child kicked me out of the house I pay for and is now housing her homeless father there, while I am told I need to find a new place for myself and we can no longer live under the same roof. Get a lawyer ASAP. Look into what rights you have in your area and get everything you need in order to be in your child's life. Bro. Why are you even here? Everyone is explaining to you that you're being a doormat and your response is, "But I like being a doormat." Then continue being a doormat. But don't pretend like you're asking for advice on how not to be one. She doesn't want you to go to court because she knows that she won't control you anymore. Ignore her threats. Get yourself situated. Your own place, then go to court and seek 50-50 custody. Now your son can visit your own family and she can no longer control. You were kicked out of your own house? And you just left? You need to find your balls ASAP, buddy, they are using you big time. If your partner isn't paying anything or signed any lease, call the police and tell them you have 2 people trespassing in your house. Are you sure the kid is yours? Get a lawyer and a paternity test. Girlfriend, 27F, was asked by a friend to be in threesome with another couple. I, 27M, am upset by it. Need advice. Too long did not read. Girlfriend was asked to be in a threesome with a close friend and so. She said no. I just still don't know if I can be comfortable with her continuing to be around them. My girlfriend, 27F, and I, 27M, are long distance. Been together for 2 years. She works mostly remote, so we get a lot more time together than most LDRs, but we still live on different coasts for more than half a year. We have had a pretty rocky couple of months, but we have been trying to make amends. About a month ago, at the height of our issues, she goes out to dinner with a friend, also our age, and her boyfriend, 40M. They go back to GF's place for drinks. It's impossible for me to know how much everyone consumed, but my girlfriend definitely had her share. She calls me at 2 a.m. or so, being very flirty and drunk. I had just started a new, life-changing, job that requires me to wake up at 5 a.m. So, I was pretty annoyed with the call, but tried my best to be as nice as I could. She tells me early in the call that her 2 guests just left and laughingly says that her friend asked her if she wanted to have a threesome with her and her boyfriend. I was a bit taken aback by this. Of course I'm not mad that she said, no. She did the right thing. How she laughingly dismissed what I thought was a serious situation, is what got to me. I was probably a bit too hard on her at first, but I thought to myself, she is drunk, confront her about it again later. Also, I wasn't thrilled that she seemingly had no regard for how important week 1 of my new job was to me, but again she is drunk. The next day I bring it up. Still she seems confused as to why I'm upset. Goes on to tell me that a completely different friend has also asked her, multiple times, to have a threesome. All while we have been together. Claiming she even tries to kiss girlfriend when they go out, and friend is under the influence. This makes me even more upset. To add clarity, she had a previous boyfriend who left some unresolved trauma. So, I have been accused of everything under the sun. Not caring enough about her. Talking to other girls. Down to the point I had to remove all of my high school girlfriends off of my social media. All I really care to do is stay home and play video games when we are apart. When I do go anywhere with my friends, I am always completely transparent. If girls are invited, I make her aware and check in if she is still okay with me going. What really gets under my skin is that of the things that I have been accused of in the past, there was no legitimate substance to any of them. To me, her getting asked by 2 of her closest friends to have a threesome are threats. Even if she did say no. I told her I never want to be the person to tell her what she can and can't do. She needs to make her own decisions. I don't want to tell her to remove people from her life. But, if she's still going to be friends with these people, I need to talk to them or be involved in some kind of discussion about all of this. She had discussion with one of the friends, the one who has asked 3x, about how things made me feel. Then that friend reached out to me, and seemed to make an attempt at a productive conversation. It quite honestly was a one-message exchange back and forth, that made me feel still a bit unconsidered. And as far as I know, she still hasn't confronted the first friend. I told her, even having these conversations, it's still going to be hard for me to be comfortable with them for a while. But she's still hanging out with them. She went to concert with one and just had dinner last night with the other. Am I wrong here? Like if your significant other got asked for a threesome, by a best friend and and you weren't around. Would you be comfortable with your significant other ever hanging around that person or couple again? I do not think that she would ever be a willing participant, or do something to cheat. I just am feeling a little disrespected, still, with this entire thing. Multiple friends of your girlfriend have asked her to have sex with them? Yeah. Your GF's friends think she is single or not in a seriously committed relationship. I guess I'd be concerned that multiple people think that she'd be up for a threesome. It makes me think that she's giving off that kind of vibe. Really, it sounds like the two of you should not be in an LDR. There is not a high degree of trust on either side. I suggest breaking up and dating someone locally. Down to the point I had to remove all of my high school girlfriends off of my social media. And #X200B. But she gets to joke around about threesomes in her living room? She should end that friendship. My 26M girlfriend, 24F, sat on FaceTime for an hour during our date. Should I confront her? I've been dating this girl for a while now. For time frame, our first date was back in January and we've been exclusive since March. Anyways, she asked me to get pizza and see a movie recently. I was pretty excited because it had been a week since I had seen her. She just started an internship and she's been busy lately, so we've only been seeing each other once a week. I wanted to do the right thing, so I offered to pick her up and drop her off back home. To keep a long story math short, this would result in an extra 1 hour 30 minutes of driving based on the location of my job, her house, the theater, and my apartment. No big deal, I knew what I was signing up for. I thought it would be a nice gesture. When I picked her up, she was on FaceTime with headphones in. This happened once before. Her friend was having an emergency, so she needed a 5-minute FaceTime, so I figured this was the case. The call ended up lasting an entire hour, where they just caught up and chatted about reminiscing on vacation they recently went on, gossip about their friend group, what they've been up to lately in work, music, etc. For that full hour, I sat in silence in the car and while eating pizza. So many people in the pizza place were staring at me, eating in silence while my girlfriend sat and chatted on the phone. I felt brushed aside, humiliated, and taken for granted after not seeing her for a week. When she hung up, she just said, "Sorry, I haven't talked to her in a while 'cause I've been busy lately." To be fair, they live about 2 hours apart, but they went on a week-long trip together 2 weeks ago and they're in a group chat together that I've seen notifications from before. We don't text at all throughout the day, so I bet she's talked to that friend more than me lately. After the call we chatted for 20 minutes, saw our movie, and then talked for 15 minutes on the drive home. I didn't make a scene 'cause we were in public, but I was pretty hurt. If she wanted to FaceTime her friend during that time, I don't get why she asked to see me at that time. I tried to act like everything was normal for the night, but I just felt off. I haven't said anything about it. I'm stopping by her house in a couple days 'cause I need to pick something up. I wanted to tell her how this bothered and hurt me. Am I overreacting? Should I say something? Tell her. That behavior is rude. If you tolerate it, she will keep doing it. You are so far down her list of priorities that a date with you ranks far below a casual chat with her bestie. Yes, of course you should talk to her about it. And you should watch her behavior. See if she stays when you withdraw the submissive compliance she's come to expect. You absolutely should have walked out of the date. Consequences or fuss made be damned. Consequences and fuss is usually the only way people actually learn their behavior is unacceptable. Sitting through it sends the opposite message. For a second date, unless I'm reading this wrong, this should be an absolute dealbreaker, my friend. Second time meeting and not once has she dedicated the entire time to focus on you and you alone. Nobody should be that desperate for affection, and let me tell you, nobody is that awesome that you should overlook such self-absorbed behavior. For me, this is, wish you the best, goodbye, kinda follow up to the date. People who lack common civic sense and basic courtesy that too when they are under zero pressure. I don't even want acquaintances like that, leave alone dating. I wouldn't even bother talking about. She'll probably be on FT during the talk. Just break it off and move on. My 32F husband, 34M, won't give me access to his income bank account. My 32F husband, 34M, is the sole income earner. We agreed 8 years ago that I would stay home with the kids, and he would provide. I worked a minimum wage job previously, so my entire income would have gone to daycare costs for our 2 kids. We now have 3. For the past 8 years, I have not had access to his income bank account. Even when he was working out of the city province. Anytime I've needed something for the kids or the house, I would have to ask him to transfer me some money, or pick it up himself if he happened to be home. I don't get to see how much his checks are, so I can't properly budget because I don't know how much is coming in. Some of our bills aren't getting paid, and some have added up so significantly due to said non-payment that it's going to take us a long time to pay the balance down. This has also resulted in a massive drop in my credit score because a few of the bills are in my name. A few days ago, I brought this up to him, again, and said it's frustrating that I still don't have access to the income, and that I feels it's demeaning to have to ask for money constantly. I asked him why he won't give me access to it, and he said, "I don't know. I'm just weird about it." This is the same reason I get if I ask to borrow his phone, but that's a whole other story. Based on how the conversation went, he has zero intention of giving me access to the income and I'm not sure what to do. I'm feeling pretty lost and pretty frustrated with this entire situation, and I'm hoping for some guidance. I have considered finding a minimum wage job, but again, my income would only end up covering daycare costs. I plan to go back to school, but it's going to take me a number of years before I'm earning my own income, and I can't live like this until then. How can I best navigate this to find a solution? Would it be beneficial to sit down with him and further discuss why he's weird about allowing me access to his income? Are there other questions I should be asking? Too long did not read. My husband won't give me access to his income, and has no intention to, and I'm feeling pretty lost. He's financially abusing you. He's using his control over the finances in the relationship to negatively impact your credit score and control your spending. Escalate this in the relationship, and reach out to family to talk to them about this situation. You need to tell more people in your life about this. You need to find a job, because if he leaves you one day you will be broke, and if you will be left with the kids and he won't pay for them, you are really screwed. I hope this won't happen, but have a plan B. Working out of the city or province, yeah. He's got another family. It's financial abuse, as others have already said, but it's also concerning because he's clearly trying to hide something. This isn't a healthy partnership when you are so reliant on him, and his lack of understanding or empathy or even care for you is a massive concern. I'd be extremely wary of continuing on like this. He probably doesn't want you to see how much money you spending on alcohol and strippers.